What's good, YouTube? It's Rage Real. So in today's video, I want to show you guys what I believe is one of the best pistols in Madden 24. So if you enjoyed this video, go and drop a like on the video right now. Go ahead and sub and turn those post notifications on. So I am in the Cardinals offensive playbook. Again, I'm in the Arizona Cardinals offensive playbook. Now I believe this formation is found in the Browns playbook as well, but those are the only two playbooks. So also, if you do enjoy this video, I would appreciate if you did drop a like on it. I know I say it every time, but seriously, it does help me out with the algorithm. And also, I do have a website, so if you're curious about any ebooks whatsoever, please visit my website. It's allthingsmadden.com, and the link to that is in the description. And also, I do have NCAA and Madden 25 already pre-ordered, so if you want to do that, make sure you check the PlayStation Store, before they actually don't have it no more. But y'all will be getting NCAA content that will look exactly like this or very similar. I haven't decided how I want to do it, but anyways, with this video, I got about 17 minutes worth of gameplay showing you guys exactly why I believe this scheme is very great. So I want to go ahead and dive into it. Now, if you want to run this with the Texans, now you don't have to use the Texans. I just picked them because they were just better than the Cardinals. But I really love this tight end Jordan. He has about 86, 87, maybe 89 speed. Dude's really fast, but this scheme works very good with him in there if you have a pretty shifty, speedy tight end. So anyways, this is what I want to talk to you about. So as far as the audibles, I love to have mesh. Now I love to put RPO here, but I come to this play a lot. This play is the bread and butter of this scheme, so I'm gonna spend a lot of time talking about this play and how the different setups and everything like that. So I'll go more in detail about this play because there's a lot you need to know when you run this play that I didn't know for the gameplay. But anyways, let's talk to you guys about bench switch and PA post shot, which is an extremely great play on this game. So between the RPO and a PA post shot, this scheme is deadly, and then you mix in mesh and then bench switch, this scheme is just honestly top tier. Honestly, I don't know why it doesn't get as much attention in the Madden community, honestly. So anyways, this counter, why I love this run play. Now the halfback dive is just a basic dive. Now what I'm gonna do, although it is in my autos, I'm gonna come out and RPO read flat because I need to talk about this the most, because you have to understand the ins and outs of running this for it to be effective for you, or you're gonna get a lot of penalties and you're gonna be like, real, every time I run this I get a lot of penalties, and we're gonna talk about that in a second. So first and foremost, I want to come out in dollar because it's very common what you're going to see, and we're just going to come out in cover 3 just to start off. All right, so first I'm going to go ahead and back the ball up. That way I can have some room to show you. Now thankfully with this scheme everything is balanced, so we have 2 receivers that's compressed, so it doesn't really matter where we have the ball at per se. Just you always want to make sure you just try to target your wide side, that's all, which that'll make sense here in a second. Okay, so when you run this play, normally I don't like to run it just how it is as you see it. I love to take this guy and motion him. Now when I motion him, I love to do basically dummy audibles, so I might take triangle. Like, you're not going to see me now, obviously I'm doing audibles, but you're not going to see them because in practice mode they don't do the whole pointing thing and touching the helmet and looking behind them. You want to make sure you're doing some fake audibles when you run this play, so that way your opponent doesn't just go ahead and try to lurk over there on that left side. Now I'm gonna go ahead and talk to you about why first I like it. So this is without having our tight end motioned over. As you can tell, sometimes he gets tackled, sometimes it dumbs out. It's very inconsistent when you have it this way where you don't motion a tight end. I'll show you again, so let's see what happens here. As you can tell, I'm just literally holding R1, and you might just think this play is busted, but this motion makes this play completely different, completely different. So as you can tell now, notice how we're able to throw that out there. We're able to get some extra yards, and you're literally gonna pick up about 6, 7, 8, 9 yards with this. Now you have the option, of course, to throw it to R1 or now I'll mention that in a second, but first I want to take you through the ins and outs of this play. So if you could tell, our read man is always going to be the guy on the end of the line of scrimmage. So you also have the option of reading him, and then it's a read option. So I seen him pull up. So when I see the read man stop, I'm going to go ahead and hand it. So of course you guys should already know that if you used to run the read options on Madden, this should seem like a piece of cake, okay? And also please keep in mind that you also can run with the quarterback. So if you want to, they didn't give me the option to, but I'm going to keep it next time regardless, just so we can get that out the way so you guys can see it, because I don't want to spend all day on this. You guys understand this. And I want to get to the important things of this formation. There we go. So anyway, we got that time, and I like to turn the ball up, and you always want to look to try to slide. Don't try to get extra yardage, or you're going to risk fumbling with your quarterback, okay? Now, some more about this, and also I'm in cover 3 right now. I've ran this play enough to know in cover 3 you will always have square open if you want it, no matter what. Now the most important thing on this RPO is your center uncovered or not. So right now, you see how I'm moving him? Right now, he is on the center, meaning that when they run this RPO, the center is going to block the guy directly in front of him. Now, I know it sounds obvious, but it's very important for you to understand that, because if nobody's in front of that center, you're going to get a penalty every time. And I'm going to show you in a second what defenses will give you that. So right there, square, you'll have that pretty much every single time in cover 3. And if it's in the game, you can throw that and you won't get a penalty. It won't tell you illegal man down the field, because they only call this, in this particular formation, in this particular playbook, they only call a penalty with the center. Even though you have 78 who's still technically down the field, they will never call that on the other lineman. They will only call it on the center. Okay, so let me take it to a formation where the center is uncovered. So basically, if you want a quick little diagnostic on it, any type of 3 down lineman set, your center is going to be covered. Okay, it's just standard football. It's just how it's done. Now, any of your 4 down lineman sets, your center is normally going to be uncovered. So let's just go to cover 3 right here, and let's go back to pistol, and then let's go to RPO read flat. All right, so notice right here, you would technically say, well, Rail, look, he can just technically block him down. No matter what we try to do, he just won't block him. So I'll even try double teaming him, which normally is supposed to allow you to. And I'll also put the mic on the lineman to try to force our center to not go. And look at our center. Notice that he's going to go downfield. And although that is open, you're going to see this in game because I had to learn this beforehand. And I learned it while playing the game, going back to look at the basically when I went to break down the gameplay. Notice how no matter, basically you can play around with this yourself, no matter what you do, if that center has nobody on him, he's going to get that linebacker, and the only player they will allow you to throw the ball to is your guy in the flat and also this wheel route. So you can throw this wheel right out the break, and you could throw this. You can only throw these two, maybe circle, but circle's never open, so never throw that even if it's open. Circle's never open, honestly. So you're just going to be looking between these two guys, and don't throw square. If you throw square, you're going to get a penalty if the center is uncovered. Okay, so I wanted to make sure I did go over that in more detail. So sorry, I know we're 7 minutes in, but this is the bread and butter of this scheme. So I wanted to make sure I spent the most time possible on this one. So let's go back to cover 3, and now I want to come out and PA post shot, because this play you can build a whole scheme off of. You can just dominate your opponents with just this. Okay, so I want to show you quickly the coverage beaters that I like out of this. So for cover 3, we're going to utilize some motion. So we're going to motion out circle. We're going to put him on a comeback. We're going to take triangle, put him on a streak, and we're going to take X and put him on a curl. Now this setup right here will bomb cover 3, and also some like cover 2 inverts, it'll bomb as well. So cover 3 and cover 2 inverts, where there's nobody in the middle of the field, this will bomb it. I like to keep the play action on here. It helps the blocking out for some reason, and basically it turns into a foot race between you and that safety, and because of the positioning, you'll always be able to have one step on that safety. So just make sure whoever that is just fast enough to get by a safety. Basically, that's all you got to make sure. But normally this should be your best receiver here, or at least, you know, your second best. It depends on how you want to do it. So I'll show you again, so that way you don't think it's some type of fluke, and you just have to have time. And as you can tell, I mean, if the longer you wait, just the longer, you know, the more separation is going to happen between those two. So that right there will bomb cover 3 every single time. Now I want to show you cover 2. So if somebody's running cover 2, there's 2 setups that I like. So the first one, all we're going to do is we're going to motion this guy out. We're going to take, oh, no, we don't want to do him yet. Let's start it this way. So what we'll do is, there's 2 setups. I was trying to think which one I want to give you. Okay, I want to give you the one that I like the most. So what we're going to do is we're going to motion this guy over. So the deep post, motion him over. We're going to take circle, put him on a streak. We're going to take X, put him on a curl. I know it doesn't show it, but X is on a curl. And we're going to take triangle, put him on a drag. So we got triangle on the drag, X on a curl. Like I said, I know it doesn't show it, but this will beat every single cover 2 no matter what. No matter what type of zone drop they do, they just will never be able to cover that deep. And if you have time in a pocket, that throw is going to be open every single time. They literally have to man that up. They can't run cover 2 to this right side, because no matter how deep they drop their zone drops, it'll just never be able to get that far. And this streak is what holds the safety, to force the safety to not be able to get in this window. And I love this little concept right here, because a lot of times the user will be following on this right side, and they're going to assume that they're going to have this covered, or they're going to stop right here for half a second to guard this, and by that time, if they stop, they're going to be trailing number 12, Nico Collins, and we'll be able to deliver a good strike in there. So really love that play versus cover 2. All right, so man coverage. If you want to run this now, you can run this play stock. It's great versus man. So, but a couple things I'll do, I'll take X, put him on a drag, and then I like to just honestly run it like this if I can. Not if I can, but I like to run it like this. You get a lot of reads that you can make. Sometimes circle can get open. That's the hardest route to get open right there. But we'll go back and replay real quick because I want to show you realistically what you're going to look at. And I still have one more setup that I like that works versus match as well. It works versus man and match and zone. It beats everything, to be honest with you. But anyways, with this setup, you really want to look for this drag. I don't know where my tight end went, but you really want to look for this route. This drag by the tight end really works well versus this style of man. And also, this triangle route is very, very good against man coverage, especially if they have a deep half safety, because you'll be able to throw it up in here. And like I said, it really just depends on who you have for this route. It can get open. It literally just depends. Sometimes they guard it, sometimes they don't. Sadly, Madden's a little inconsistent with that, okay? Now, the other setup I want to give you, we're gonna use the same motion as if we're running that other play with the RPO. So I like to motion him, put him on a wheel, and then motion him back, and then that wheel is gonna flip to this right side. Now from here, I like to take circle. If it's zone, I put him on a hitch right here, and we're gonna take triangle, put him on a streak, and we're gonna motion square out. Now this setup right here will beat every single coverage. Now if they play man, I would recommend you just take a circle, put them on like an in route, so that way the in route can have a chance to win. But if it's zone, just put them on a hitch, and this will beat every single zone except for cover 3. It's not good versus cover 3, but it can beat every single one besides that. So I'll show you real quick, and also it does beat match coverage. So please, I'll show you in a second. I just didn't want this to be in a long video, but this setup right here does beat match coverage as well. But anyways, for cover 2, it's the hardest throw, but you could tell, I mean, you're just going to be able to split the middle right there, and you'll have that versus cover 2. Now you also can bomb cover 4 drop. It's one of the rare plays that will let you bomb cover 4 drop. So I'll show you right here. So we're going to put him on a wheel, bring him back across, circle, put him on a hitch, and triangle on a streak, and then motion him. Now you might be saying, real, I'm not going to have enough time to do all this. I promise you guys, you will have plenty of time. And I do have triangle on the streak. I know it doesn't show it, but you have plenty of time to do this. And it works great with your scheme as long as you have time. Of course, I'm not going to have time in the pocket, but I'm going to run it for you one more time, but I know you've seen him for a fact wide open. But you'll be able to throw it. You just have to throw it over that safety, which you'll be able to do, honestly. So we have X on a wheel. I know it doesn't show it. We have X on the wheel, triangle on the streak, circle on the hitch, and we're going to motion out this guy. And again, I just told you to set up, so don't worry about what you see right there. It's just you guys already know it's a practice mode thing. But all you need is time in the pocket, and as you can tell, you're just going to be able to throw it literally right over the top of that safety, and it's because they have to come down on the play action is what I believe happens. Even still, it's just the route is deep enough to where they feel like the other person is supposed to play it, which is terrible coded on here. But as you guys know, it's part of what my channel does. But anyways, that's everything that I like with this play. Now there's tons of different things you can do. Now if somebody's all man blitzing you can still run this play. I would just take circle, put them on a slant, and then you could just run this. So like if somebody's running like a spinner style and you just you're having trouble with the all-out man blitz, you definitely more than welcome to run this style of setup. I would just recommend you just maybe block an X to let him not come across that way, and just let him be able to pick up. Now you have circle and triangle. Those are my two favorite reads, of course. You got to make sure you highball it. I always forget to do that, and I throw a lot of picks because of that, to be honest with you guys. But really, you just want to make a read between these two. And also, you can read square depending on what they have. But like I said, you can drift in this way, throw a bullet, or you could throw a high pass. Normally, they'll let you get that. But that's what I like to do versus your man coverage style. So next thing I want to talk about is just mesh. So I'm going to kind of quickly fly through these. You're going to see me use these same setups in game. This will work versus every single zone coverage in the game. Just take square. You could re-put them on a streak if you want to, or motion them across. Take X, put them on a curl. And now it's a similar setup that I gave you to the last one, but we'll be able to throw circle, and that will beat every single zone coverage in the game. Really great play right there. That's how I love to run that one. And bench switch, there's a lot of different things I like to do. So first I'll do the same motion where I have 3 receivers, but as you can tell, now we're going to look to the other side of the field. So this is my favorite setup right here, either doing it with a circle on the corner, or I'll take circle, put them on a hitch, whichever one. But either way, now we're going to flood the left side of the field basically. And every now and again that route does run a little deep, so you can't like wait for it. Basically, you have to throw it in a certain window. You can't let this, with this particular corner slash post, because it's a post because we motion it over, you have to throw this ball right about here and then get a nice little possession catch here. Sadly, it runs too deep to where to run into the third. So if they play any type of cover 3, cover 4, it's not the best. But if they play any cover 2, any version of cover 2, that play is really great for that. So it just gives you another look to be honest with you. So really love that play. Now I believe that's all I wanted to mention on it, so we'll talk about let's see. Okay, I want to give you the last one. So again, with this last one, if you wanted a motion over this guy, you could have it like this, and every now and again I'll take triangle and put him on a streak, and then we can just basically have like we're basically clearing out and we're looking for circle, square, or R1 with this particular setup, just seeing what we give. So here we'll have square if we're going to be able to get it. Normally versus your cover 3 style, it's not really open, but that is a great match setup. But I didn't want this video being over 30 minutes, but sadly it's gonna have to be. But anyways, you guys get the idea. And also, this will be your window too as well. So you're just reading the user to see where the user is gonna take you. This particular, when you motion this way, it gets open a lot more than the other way. As you can tell, we have all this room here, and this is just, I only throw this if they're doing weird things with their coverage. But if they play like a cover 3, cover 4, they normally will come back and play it. So either you have to throw this ball right now. I threw it a little bit too late. I'd have to throw it literally about right now. I should be throwing that ball, but anyway, it's a hard throw to make, but you definitely can make it. Anyways, you have this read here, but you get the idea. So anyways, that's everything with this scheme. There's other setups, other things, but those are the main ones that I love, and those are the main ones you're about to see in the gameplay. Alright, y'all, so this is the first game that we have right here, and again, this is about 17-minute gameplay. Now it's not just against one person, it's against it's technically 2. It's supposed to be 3, but you'll see why I say that in a second. But anyways, the reason this is so long too, because I needed you to see how this scheme is ran, as far as just pay attention to the motions, pay attention to basically what all is happening, because the key with this scheme is motions and be able to do dummy hot routes. So right here, my opponent was running the $326, so the little cover 2 blitz. Well, he was mixing it up every now and again between his coverages, but he was running the cover 2 style blitz of this. And so when I noticed that, that's why I went ahead and motioned this guy over, and it's a setup that I was telling you guys about. I just kind of set it up backwards in my head, so just had a couple brain farts, and we ended up had to take a delay game. Now I don't recommend calling a timeout if you ever mess up like that, just because you don't want to give up your timeout that early into a game. So I was just okay with taking the delay game. It was basically like I had a 1-yard loss, so it wasn't really, that big of a deal. So anyways, right here, I knew exactly who I had him open. I seen I was going to have him, so I like the look of it. And the reason I call hurry up too is because a lot of times if you take a quick sack like that, your opponent doesn't really get to see what route concept you was even trying to run. And I figured he didn't get to see it. Now it was my fault on this, because you can block the blitz out of this, but basically all I had to do was just slide my line to the right and then ID the corner all the way to the left. Even though I almost didn't have enough time to do it, there we go. So doing it this way, I'll be able to actually step up in the pocket, and I just knew I had to wait for a second. I have no idea why his user came off of that, just trying to look and try to cover too much, and that's what it's going to look like when they run cover 2. Alright, so like I said, notice that I'm doing that same tight end motion now. So the key to this scheme is motion over at tight end for other things. Now I know I did have square, I know I had triangle. I wanted to see where that cloud flat was playing at, because I did notice that he was just staying in cover 2. So I really ran that to see what he was going to do. And now, like I said, notice that tight end's motioning over. We're doing a lot of audible. So my opponent right now doesn't really know what to expect, if that makes sense. So you want to, with this scheme, you have to make sure you're not being predictable. If you be predictable with this scheme, you will not do good with this, okay? So like I said, we're doing a lot of dummy audibles. We're motioning our guy over. And now keep in mind, I already knew that the cornerback was playing basically a hard flat. So I knew at that point I'll be able to throw my little wheel route, and now either he's going to adjust to it or he's going to just keep giving that up. So we're not going to abuse it though. So what I learned about this scheme, you can't abuse plays. You just have to literally mix up your play calls. If you start being too predictable with your play calls, then this scheme isn't that good. Like for example, if I sit in this play for too long, then my opponent's eventually going to catch on how to stop it. And you don't want to do that. You want to make sure you use all your weapons, just not all at once. So right here, I figured he was playing cover 2. So what this is going to basically do is I'm going to widen out the safeties, and then I'll have square in the middle, essentially just a natural cover 2 beater basically. So that's why I'm setting up my curl route, just to kind of have a bailout route. So if I see something I don't like, I can still have X. So right here, I step up in the pocket, and right there, I've seen square, but it's one of the things that I guess I really struggle with, to be honest with you guys, as far as trying to throw people open, because that if it was the older Maddens, it definitely would have been a touchdown. If it was current gen, it definitely would have been a touchdown. But regardless, we do get a great stop on defense. And if you guys are going to see defense every now and again throughout this gameplay, just so you can be aware of it. But if you like the defense, honestly, buy the ebook. Honestly, so right there, I forgot to mention though, when you use this RPO play, if they are doing a blitz with their slot corner, if you're trying to do it, if they do it to the RPO side, then don't keep it with your quarterback, because the quarterback's going to automatically get taken by the blitz and slot corner. So that is something I did forget to mention. And this is a setup I was telling you guys that beats just about every coverage. I had triangle, but I also seen circle. And sadly, I know I did miss X for a wide open touchdown, but that wasn't part of my read progression, to be honest with y'all. So I didn't realize it until after I watched it, but it just X wasn't a part of my read progression, to be real. So I am sad that I missed that easy touchdown though. So it happens, man. I ain't gonna lie to you, I miss a lot of reads, man. It's because I have like 2-3 options I always keep in my head, and it's always a fourth option that always somehow gets open for that always gets open for me. But anyways, like I said, notice how we're mixing up the play calls and then we're motioning the guy over. And like I said, triangle, I just knew I was going to have him every time simply because of how he was playing. So he was just going to have to give up something, and we're just giving him too much to worry about. And right here, just another defense. Look at that. We basically get a C gap. I can say nano. I guess you can call it a nano because nobody really touched him. But like I said, what you see me run on defense is literally in the ebook. I wouldn't lie to y'all. But anyways, I really like this counter play. It works well. Sometimes I motion the tight end over, sometimes I don't. And right there, and we're cool with that, okay? Some people might look at 4 yards and say that's bad, but with this scheme, those 4 yards matter because it's going to start making your opponent respect the run, which is what we want, okay? So right here, this is my favorite man beater, basically. It's just putting them on the drag, the one I showed you in practice mode, and that's what it normally looks like when you call this in game. Normally. Normally the tight end doesn't get beat up, and normally that crosser doesn't get beat up. Normally you'll have either one of those, but if not, it's okay. But right here, I believe this is the mesh play, and I just took the square one, motioned them over, took triangle on the streak, and this setup will beat every single zone coverage in the game as long as you have time. And right there, I did not have time, but I would have had square had I had a little bit more time in the pocket, but unfortunately, it wasn't able to. So 2nd and 13, and like I said, when you run this scheme, you got to motion a tight end over. You want your opponent thinking that you're trying to run the RPO. So right here, I was trying to take circle, and actually, not right now, but right now, I'm thinking this man coverage. I was hoping circle will pull down zones and looking for triangle, but I just didn't trust it for some reason because like I said, I'll always throw a pick on that triangle route when it's man coverage, so I was hesitant on throwing it. I just suck at throwing those, honestly. I think I'm supposed to eyeball them, but like I said, I'm just bad at throwing those. But right there is why you want to run this RPO play sparingly, because it just gives your opponent just way too much to worry about. And when your opponent a lot of times has too much to worry about, they're just going to end up quitting, to be honest with you. So good game to my opponent right there. Now, I loaded up my next game, and then I did get matched up with the Texans. And I don't know about y'all, but I don't like playing the same team. Like whenever, some people don't care. I just really just don't like it for content's sake. I don't know. I just don't like it. I feel like it's practice mode at that point because I'm playing the same team. So right here I did go to friendly quit, and sometimes people don't accept it. It is what it is if they don't, but I'll just try it. Why not? If they accept it, cool. So right there he did accept it, so we are going to go ahead and go to our next game right here. So we are matched up against the Jags, so we don't got to worry about doing a friendly quit. And right here, notice what I started off doing. I started off by motioning over my tight end, so that way I can establish that, hey, when I motion him over, I'm just trying to run the ball, so that way he can start building that logic of it. So next time when I run that RPO, he's going to be expecting to run when I'm actually throwing it to the tight end. So you just have to do a lot of messing with your opponent's head. So right here, I wanted to do just a basic flood concept. So I looked at X, didn't see what I liked, and I looked at circle. I should have waited a little bit longer, but either way, it wasn't open. Great defense by my opponent. I wasn't expecting him to zone drop at that correct depth right away. So just great defense by my opponent to open up the game. And right here, we are going to play good defense ourselves. Now, he did have that drag wide open. We didn't have a curl flat defender. I decided to push him deeper. So we were able to, get a nice little pick from that. So anyways, this is the power of the play right here if you have somebody who's fast at tight end. Now, you don't have to have somebody fast, but it just helps, as you guys can tell. So I just got a 10-yard gain. So now what I'm going to do is do the same motion, make my opponent think that that's what I'm coming back to, but I'm actually going to be reading the whole other side of the field. Now I meant to put square on the drag. I completely messed up this setup, but either way it still worked out for us great because we were able to get the drag open. But that's another setup that I forgot to tell you guys about. But as you can tell, there's just so many different ways you can run, have route combos with this particular formation, that it really makes it just kind of aggravating to kind of guard against if your opponent, if you as the offensive player understand what you're doing. If that makes sense, then it's very, very difficult. It's right there. I'm assuming he just blitzes linebackers. Either way, great gap shoot, like auto gap shoot. That was actually pretty cool. But so what we're gonna do is go ahead and run the RPO. And like I said, we noticed, I didn't notice this at the time, but I want you guys to pay attention. So if you go back and look, you might forget, but they didn't call a penalty because the center actually was uncovered. So notice me saying, you're going to notice me saying that a lot, because you're going to be able to see here in a little while what I mean. So right here, kind of look at the center so you could judge that yourself, see if he's uncovered. I want you to kind of watch what the center does, and this is going to be able to help you understand. So notice he goes to climb the linebacker. I actually decided to take off running because he didn't have a read man because he took the end on the line of scrimmage. So in that case, I got free yards for my quarterback. And this is an 0-1 trap out of single back wide trips, and it's in the Cardinals playbook. Now, we are on defense right here. So I wanted to go ahead and show you. I actually decided not to blitz. We put an extra guy in coverage, and that helped us get the numbers that we want to be able to get the pick six. So I know you guys probably sick of me talking about this defense, but I wouldn't lie to y'all, man. It's a good defense. It's really what I stay in for most of the game anyways, unless somebody forces me out of it. But right here, Jamal Agnew being Jamal Agnew. What was it? Agnew down the sideline. Well, they catch him. Jamal Agnew. Hey, y'all know that little announcer dude. Y'all remember that when the Jamal Agnew broke that kickoff return? Yeah, I know y'all do. But anyway, that's what I was showing you guys. So if you guys go back and look, or you're going to see here in a second, the center actually got the penalty, and it was because the center, so look at, he's in the same formation, so look, notice how the center is uncovered. So he has to literally be directly head up over the center for them not to call it, all right? Now, this is the setup I was telling you guys that beats every single coverage except for cover 3. It doesn't beat cover 3 for a one-play touchdown, but every other coverage, it definitely will. Now, right here, the only reason I would have had square for one-play touchdown, but the other thing that I learned, too, is that the only time you won't have something is if triangle, your slot guy gets pressed. So that's the only way that it doesn't work that way. So right here, he had good defense. I had nothing to say. He had good defense right there. And like I said, it's not like the RPO is just unstoppable by any means. It's just when you start building a scheme that you see me do, it's going to make it to where you just can't put guys where you want them to be able to stop the RPO, because you have to deal with things like this. Now, had I put square on a streak, it would have got that crosser a lot more open, but I was worried about him playing any type of man coverage, so I wanted to have that post just as like a safety net if I wanted it. Now, notice what I'm doing. Notice his user on the left side of the field. Notice his user goes all the way to the left. Now, although I didn't get any positive yards on the run, it lets me be able to know what he's thinking. So he's thinking every time I motion that tight end over, I'm looking for that RPO. So that's why I like to come to this play, because now, you know, he's just getting his brain thinking, that's all. And with this particular setup, like I told you guys, beats every coverage, man. Especially if you have a dog at tight end who can get away from the man. Definitely good. Now right here he played cover 3, but even with cover 3, we still kind of maybe had a chance. Had maybe we had more space, that probably could have got open, but again, it doesn't beat cover 3. It's not what it's good. It's not what it's meant for with this setup. So right here we're gonna do the same thing. We're motion that guy over. Now I noticed that the guy follows, so that normally means you're gonna have all out man coverage normally. But either way, we still were able to have that tight end. And like I said, this is why this scheme is very, very annoying, because if you aren't, you know, aware that the RPO is coming, it's hard to stop. And this setup right here is the one that I told you guys about. It's just mesh. All I did was motion over square, put them on a streak, and we're gonna get a nice little corner concept, nice little flood concept. And I mean, you just can't get any more wide open than that. And we're just gonna be able to get the touchdown because it was a penalty on my opponent. So right here, this is that next drive, and this is the defensive drive. And just look, I mean, just look how we're screaming, man. And then right there, I mean, what do? You know, like, what can you do in that scenario, basically? So the good thing about that blitz, honestly, I only send 5 people. every single time. I'm not gonna say every single time. I do 4 or 5 people, but normally it's gonna get great pressure. So anyways, we're just basically gonna run the same setup. He gave it to me last time, so I wanted to see if he'll give it again, and he actually did give it again. So we were able to get another touchdown off of that. So right here, this is the defense right here. Now I didn't blitz, so he had a little bit of time, but either way, we still were able to play great coverage, and we were able to get the pick right there with a little bit of time left. Decided to take 3 because I was wanting him to quit because I didn't want to keep playing this game. But he did end up scoring his first drive to start the second half. And so now, because I was going to cut it off and let that be the last thing, but he scored, so I wanted to, I wanted to keep it going because I figured he still had a lot of fight left in him. So right here, this is the cover 3 bomb. Like I told you guys, it also can beat cover 2 invert, which is actually what he was playing. And we were able to get basically the 1-play touchdown. So that's the power of this formation right here. Now right here, he was trying to run this like bunch open, I believe, and we just played great defense. And the reason I show you these picks is so you can understand the flow of the game, essentially, like what happened, like how did I get the ball back. I just like doing that. I believe it helps y'all just kind of keep up with the game. But anyways, because to me, game flow matters. And right here, I was wanting him to think it was the same exact play, but notice why I got the penalty. You guys can already know who it is. It's the center, and it's because when I was playing this game, I didn't know that at the time that it matters whether he's uncovered. So right here you can tell my center's covered, meaning somebody is directly in front of him. So if I ran that same exact RPO play, I would be fine running it. I could throw it the square if I wanted to because my center won't go downfield. It's just how it works with this. So right here, circle was going to get wide open simply because we are running the flood concept. And that's, like I said, it's why this play is annoying. So right here, he was on the center, and that's why I was able to throw that. So that's why I didn't get a penalty right there. So now you're starting to kind of understand it. Now notice he is uncovered. So if I want to throw square, I have the option to. But I had all one wide open, so I didn't even need to worry about that. And again, this is why you don't want to abuse the RPO, because if I keep abusing the RPO, he's going to eventually figure out what he needs to do to stop it. And you always want to keep the RPO in your back pocket, if that makes sense. And you want to keep him honest by doing these little run plays, because what'll start happening is your opponent will start trying to pass commit all the time. And that's when that halfback dive comes good, basically. Or it's whenever it's good when you keep it with your quarterback. So either one. And like I said, now I see him on the left side, so now I'm just kind of being aware. I'm watching his user. I see he didn't go down low, so I'm just going to simply dump it to my tight end. It's right there. We were able to split the 2 defenders, which I think is kind of bull. if you want me to be honest, I think it's bull when they allow that, but what can you do about it, So right here, I decided to run a halfback zone. I don't really run this play at all. I just personally don't like it, and that's kind of why I don't like it. Notice there was 2 people untouched, so it's just why I don't use that one. Now, right here, I was expecting zone coverage, but he actually played man, and I noticed he had nobody in the middle, so we were just easily able to take off for the touchdown. So we are on defense now. We didn't get the pressure, but it's all good because we played great coverage on the back end, and we were able to secure the pick. So this is basically coming down to the last drive right here. So, excuse me. We are running mesh. I seen his cornerback follow, so I figured it was man cover. So I was looking between triangle and circle, just kind of peeping those 2 out. I didn't like what I seen with triangle, and so circle was going to be able to get open, and we did throw the nice dot right there. So notice now my center is uncovered, so I cannot throw it the square, okay? And right there, exactly like I said, we can't throw it the square, and that's why we got the penalty. So if you want to run this, please be aware. So right here, I can throw it the square if I want. Although he did get pressed a little bit, it's fine because we basically get a walk-in for the touchdown. And honestly, this is going to be the last play of the game. This is my favorite trip style defense, and that is part of why they just do a great job. And after this, my opponent just didn't want any more. So great game to my opponent, but that's gonna wrap it up for this video. I do pray you have a blessed day. I'm Ray Jarrell, and yeah, I'm out.